Hello vapors, this is Vaping with an Acquired Brain Injury checking in. Okay, I have a injury. It doesn't stop me building coils. Lately I've been building, some people call them Fralions, some people call them Fraplions. They're essentially ribbon wire frames and the alien wrap wire. Now, I've been doing long lengths, quite big lengths, so here's the finished. This is a 6, no, that's actually a 5 wrap with 28 gauge frames, and it's 32 gauge wrap. Okay, these are 6 32 gauge wrap, so all these are 32 gauge wrap. It's quite a sturdy wire, if anybody's familiar with it. And this one here, which I just finished, is a 36 gauge wrap, and it's a beautiful finish on there. It's very tight, no flaws. I just use one slide, and I was having a problem. What I found was, because I have to use a lot of 36 gauge to do a length like this, what I found was, once I've stretched out a decent length, roughly 12 feet, what I found was this wire would twist up as I was trying to do the wrap. And I tried different ways, different solutions, and none worked. And my carpet is a bitch. It grabs everything, and it's such a colour that you lose everything. And I dropped a length of alien wire on there one day, a 10-foot length, and it took me an hour to find it. That's true. But anyway, I was having problems, and I thought, what I need is a tumbler. Now I tried attaching a shot, like a lead shot on the end of this wire. What I found was, as it was untwisting naturally, it was going in one direction and it was getting snagged up on everything else, and I thought, wow, that's no good. So what I came across was the thumbtacks, and the plastic ones. And so here you have the thumbtack, and on this end here you have the point. Now I snapped off the point, and I wrapped the wire around the narrowest end here, so you have the heavier end here. And what happens is, this bounces around on the floor, and if there's any natural untwisting, it takes all the twists out as it's going. And what I noticed, it goes in a zigzag. It doesn't go off in one direction, stay going in one direction. It's jumping up and down, and it's doing all the things that it's supposed to. And I tried this twice, and it does the exact same thing. And I was able to do a 12-foot length of this wire, as you can see. There was no snags, it didn't twist up on itself, and it worked. So if you're having any troubles building these Fralians or big ass alien coils, and you're having trouble with the wire twisting up and everything, and you're looking for something to actually tie onto the end, try a thumbtack. They really do work, and there it is. That's all it is, and it just bounces around the carpet and does its own thing whilst I'm building this lovely length here. What I find is, this is very good therapy. So like I said, I have an acquired brain injury. I don't own a TV or anything like that, because I found it's frying my brain even more. And so we have all this nonsense on TV. And there's a problem, you see, because whatever part of my brain works really well, Um, it has to discover everything. You know, I go and do history and look at different things, and I'm studying and I want to know more. I think it's part of my upbringing. I don't know, but that's just the way it is. So what I find is I couldn't relax, and building coils helps me relax. It takes all this nonsense out of my head, and I enjoy it. I get great satisfaction once I finish the coil, and I look at it. I'm happy with it. I take photographs of it. I post it up on Instagram, and now I have a wire company who's asking to use my photographs. So I'm delighted. And this is what people don't understand about the vaping industry or vapors. What they've taken for granted is there are disabled vapors, people like myself, who have a brain injury. People don't take us into consideration. It's like we're never mentioned. What's the word I'm looking for? We're on the sidelines. Essentially, we're on the sidelines. But what we find is vaping helps us immensely. You wouldn't believe how much it helps us. You're talking about a lot of disabled vapors who wanted to quit smoking and found it impossible, and then vaping came along, and we've taken to it. We've taken it to our hearts. But it's different, as opposed to somebody who's able-bodied and can take many things for granted. What we find is that we need it. We don't really get many opportunities to do much of anything in our own minds as such, because we're always battling other things in our minds. This is very hard to explain. A head injury can affect people in different ways, and it all depends on where the injury is. And because the brain is such a complex machine as such, that nobody really presents with exactly the same injury or the same results unless they've had the same injury. And so we're all individuals. We are all individuals. But we're not treated like individuals. We're lumped into this pigeonhole. Or to say somebody with a brain injury is lumped into the same pigeonhole with somebody else with a brain injury. They don't take into consideration the nature of the injury. Anyway, that's my thoughts really. I'm starting to lose the track of myself, and this is what happens. So I'm going to wind this one up. I have my 3.5. And this is another thing about having an acquired brain injury. You cannot keep anything tidy. It doesn't work. Everything is a clutter. Buying clothes is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. For me, it's torture to buy clothes. The only thing I seem to be spending my money on is e-liquid, vaping. That's all. And a bit of food, and a bottle of McGargles. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do because my eyesight is shot as well. I have to do everything with goggles on. I'm going to make a coil because it's what's it called? or a staple coil, you know, it's a framed staple coil. You've got to put a bit of welly into this, you know, to prevent the coral wires from buckling in and stuff and spoiling. You cannot retrieve it once it goes wrong. So I'm just going to check this wire to make sure I'm going to be doing the best length possible, and I think yeah, it's pretty much perfect all the way through. Yeah, so we're going to go here. I can hold it here. I'm going to be making one coil out of this, so I can hold it here and put a lot of pressure on it, and then if you can hear anything crunching, that's my elbow. It's all broken. Yeah. Right, we've got 5 ramps. I'm going to do 6. And because it's going in the ferro, let's tidy this up. And give them a clip. We've got enough either side. Yeah. And there we are. We have a beautiful frame stapled alien, 36 gauge alien. The 6 ramps of 0.5 ribbon wire. The frame's 28 gauge and it's all Icram. And should ohm out around about 0.23, 0.24, about even to 0.25. More than likely it's going to be 0.24. But should be going into the ferro. But the ferro is occupied at the moment. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going to call it a day. Alright, bye.